What's up, everyone? I'm the Classic Rocker, and tonight we are back again with some more Fortnite Super Chapter 6, Season 3. And we're going to try to go through some of these new features and settings for Gyro that now that I've had some time to kind of go through some things and see what it's all about. So let's go ahead and hop into Skavok and try to explain some of this stuff a little bit better than yesterday. Excuse me. But want to say a huge thank you to Jib Smart for dialing or allowing us to dial in these settings further. All I can say is it's incredible the way that it is now. Hey, what's up, Go Dogs? Good to see you, man. Yeah, this season is fire for sure. For sure. So, just to kind of recap some of the new things that are out for Gyro, because this is single-handedly the largest update for Gyro since it's been released. So let's just dive in and take a look. And this is kind of my practice run for trying to explain all this stuff. So I'm going to do the best that I can here. 17 kills, 24 kill win. Awesome. Hey, what's up, Mr. I? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I'm just going to go through and try to explain everything from yesterday that came out, just so that I can get better at formulating my thoughts on it and being able to put together a video that will kind of go through all of the details of it. So for Gyro, the biggest thing that changed is the acceleration section. Okay, so with this acceleration section, we now have the ability to go less than 1. So you can go in increments of 0.02 now, all the way up to 1. Okay, and according to the way that this works, and let's just test it here while we're live on stream. Okay. If you go less than 1, when you reach the max threshold, I think, it slows it down even further. So let's just double check how this works. So, no, that's not it. It's not slowing it down further. It's let's take a look and see what it says here. Okay. So it says that aim speeds between the two thresholds reduce the effect of the multiplier. No fast multiplier is applied at or below the minimum threshold, and no slow multiplier is applied at or above the max threshold. Okay, so let's try to understand what this slow multiplier does. Hey, what's up, Voodoo? Good to see you, ma'am. Of course, I'm enjoying myself. I'm going through these settings again. I went through them before the stream to try to get more familiar, but there's so much to try and absorb, and there's some new things that I discovered between yesterday and today that I kind of want to rehash what I tried to explain yesterday and make it better, but then also talk about some of the new things that I discovered in the Gyro settings today as I was messing with things today, okay? So the first thing is the acceleration multiplier going less than 1. So the way that I understand it, it's supposed to make it go slower, because if you've got 1 times your base sensitivity, so if my base sensitivity is 0.36, if I go less on the multiplier, then I'm cutting my less than 1 on the multiplier, then I'm cutting my sensitivity. And I just have to figure out how it actually applies, because And they changed some of the descriptions too, if not all of them, which is a good thing. So kudos to GibSmart for making the descriptions better, but they still are a mouthful to try and absorb, and you have to reread it and then try it to try and figure out what is actually happening with it. So let's just see here what it says for gyro aiming sensitivity. Choose one for the camera to turn the same amount as the controller. Choose two for the camera to turn twice as much. Okay, so they did change this description. This is good. The amount the camera turns is increased by your acceleration settings and decreased as you zoom in with long-range weapons. You can toggle zoom, scaling, or change your sensitivity for different tools and aim models by enabling advanced gyro options below. Okay, so again, kudos to GibSmart for listening to, in large part, to a lot of the things that we've been talking about, you know, between Voodoo, Titanium Gyro, myself. I don't know who else was involved with all of this, but he listened. And so now we've got like all of this stuff that we can mess with to try and make everything more fine-tuned. It's literally the best example I have for all of this right now is it's just like this tape measure. We used to have, before yesterday, the 1/4 inch, the 1/2 inch, and the inch mark. And that was all we could adjust before, right? But now we've got 1/8 inch, 16th inch, and 32nds of an inch that we can adjust. So it makes everything more precise, okay? So what I'm really wanting to try to understand here is the slow part of this. Okay, so let's turn this to 50. Okay, so now let's go back to 1 and see what happens here. I think I understand what's happening, but let me just double check. Let's go to 1. Okay, let's go back to 50. Okay, I'm going to have to turn this up more just to see what's going on here. So let's go 10. Let's go with 1. Okay. So when I barely move it at 1, I've got the full 10 of my sensitivity. But if I put this to 0.5, when I barely move it now, it moves at half the speed. I see. So basically, if you go, I think it's if you go above the minimum threshold, and then, so like if you're moving the controller slowly, the multiplier that is less than 1 will apply. That's what it looks like to me. We're going to have to do some more testing on this just to see. Let's see. Let's go back to where I had this here, 0.36. And then I had this at 12. So now the other factor is that we can go above 20 on the acceleration multiplier. So let's save that. Okay, so let's just try and see how this works here. Okay, so the first thing that looks like is changed, like I was trying to explain here, and I know this is a terrible explanation, but we're going to try to get through this. The acceleration multiplier is giving you the ability to go less than 1 now and above 20. Okay, that's the first thing. Okay. The second thing is that you can go all the way up to 1,000 with the max threshold. Okay. So let's go back to 102. So the lower your max threshold is, the faster the multiplier applies, because it has to do with how fast you're turning the controller. Okay, so here's where I have it set currently, right, at 102 with the multiplier of 12, right? So when I move and let me turn the gyro overlay on so that everybody can see what's happening here. All right. So by turning the gyro overlay on, now you're going to be able to see what I'm doing with this. But it's not working right. All right, so let's try it again. Gyro overlay on. Okay. So let's get back into here. All right. So you saw how fast I was flipping it with the max threshold at 102. Okay. So this is with a base sensitivity of 0.36 and my multiplier at 12. Okay. But if I put the max threshold at 1,000, it means that I have to move the controller faster than 1,000 degrees per second, I believe, in order for the multiplier to be active. So I have to like move it really hard in order for that fast multiplier to be activated. Okay. So it's almost kind of like I'm just keeping it without a multiplier, is what it feels like. Let's just see what happens if I put the multiplier to 1. Let's put it to 1. And then put this to 0 and just see how that feels. Okay, so this is 0. Now let's put this back to 12 and 1,000 and see how that feels. Because see, a lot of these things, I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how it's actually working, because it doesn't feel quite the same. When I go 12 and 1,000, right? It still feels faster than when I had it at 1 and 0. But overall, in order to get the full effect of everything, I've got to flip it really hard to get it to activate the multiplier. So basically the way that I am taking this and I'm trying to explain it is that the higher your max threshold is, the harder it is for you to flip it and get more acceleration. So I have this set currently. I was playing with it yesterday at 1,000, and then I put it back to 102. So now it feels like it's flipping fast enough for me at 102. Okay. And oh my gosh, I know this is a terrible explanation, but I've got to just kind of get through this so that I can put this in a better video later. Because I was going to try to make a video about this earlier today, and then as I was going through it, I was like, man, I'm going to have to just kind of talk my way through this just so that I can make it make sense to myself. Okay. So that is the minimum and maximum thresholds, okay? And the acceleration multiplier. So those are the things that are new with that, okay? The second thing that's new has to do with calibration, okay? And if you have it set to any time, it's going to be like it used to be before, where whenever it wants to, it will just automatically calibrate, and that could potentially screw your aim up in the process, okay? Menus only means that when you set the controller down with the settings menu open, that's when it will calibrate. And then if you set this to locked, it means that it'll just stay where you have it, and you can use Steam to calibrate it just to make sure that it's good, and it won't do any auto calibrating at all. Okay. Let's see. And then the last couple things that I want to talk about, and I'm still trying to work out what this actually means to myself, is they added world space. Okay. So according to what this is, world space detects your motion relative to the direction of gravity adapting to your position. Now, I've tried to figure out what exactly that's doing, but I still can't quite understand it. Okay. The only way I know how to explain it is that it feels much tighter than any of the other players or any of the other spaces. So you've got local and player. So let me just kind of flip it to player. So player feels looser. Okay. See how much motion I've got there? Let's go back to world. It's not, it doesn't have as much motion to it. Okay. So as far as how it's actually calculating it, I'm still trying to do research, and I've read all the different things, but it's still not computing in my mind in terms of like how you move it. So as soon as I come up with an answer for that, I'll, put a video out there or put the information out there to say, hey, this is what's actually happening when you put it to world space. But after playing around with everything, local is still the best to me because it gives you 3 points of axis, 3 points of motion, and I can move it as fast or as slow as I want to. Okay. There are benefits to going player space and local and world, but for me, it just feels better to have it on player because I have more range of motion is what it feels like. Okay. So the last component of everything that I just discovered today too is that they've even changed the ability of how you dial in the smoothing threshold. So now you can go in increments of 0.1 because it used to be 0.5. So now you can dial these in increments of 0.1 up until you get to, let's see, how far does it have to go? Okay, so it's increments of 0.1 all the way up to 50. So it used to just be dialed in by 0.5. Okay, so that's huge because now you can be more precise with the filtering. Okay, so I like it at 0.2 right now. I may play with these things later and try something else out, but having this at 0.2 and then having my smoothing window at 0.445, my tightening at 0 and my dead zone at 0. See, even tightening is all by 0.1 also. You can change these. It used to all be by 0.5. So we've been given access to a lot more fine tuning. So the way that everything's set now feels absolutely incredible to me especially with the ability to turn the auto calibration feature to locked and set my smoothing window to a decimal point. Just feels incredible to me now. So let's go ahead and just kind of run through these drills real quick, and then we'll go into a match. And boy, this was such... I thought tonight's explanation was going to be better than yesterday's, but this was absolutely terrible. So it shows you I need more time with trying to wrap my mind around what actually happened with the changes and find a better way to explain everything. But I'm doing the best I can. So let's go to the next drill. Let's go skeet. See, it's just responding to what I want it to do. I can make it go as slow or as fast as I want it to. See how I did that? I can just catch up to it. Let's try that again. See? Let's see if I can do that with a snipe. And catch up to it. See? That's incredible, man. Just the ability to be able to adjust the speed on the fly so you can go super slow and then all of a sudden bring it down if you need to. Oh, that was a great shot. Okay, so let's go ahead and hop into a match now and see if we can figure some more stuff out. But bro, everything that has happened for Gyro here just as of yesterday, I'm just going to keep talking about it because I've got to get this stuff out of my head and be able to explain it in a way that doesn't sound like a bunch of gobbledygook. Because it's such a hard concept to grasp when you're adjusting each setting. Hey, what's up, Hamza Vena? Good to see you, homie. Good to see you, homie. Everything is fantastic, my friend. I'm just stuttering over myself trying to explain the new gyro features and wrap my brain around it. But this is all good practice for when the master video comes out. And boy, is it going to be a good one. Because I've had literally like 7 months of just, or 8 months of just trying to practice explaining these things. So once I kind of put this all in a precise format and just edit it so that it's not like 4 hours long, it's going to be great. You know, but just the fact that you can adjust everything to the millimeter, basically. It's like it's so precise now. It's incredible. Which opens the door for more techniques and more ways to set this up, depending on what kind of playstyle you want to have. You know, so I'm going to have to go through and play with those things even more just to see if there's a different way. Like earlier, before stream, I was playing with it on world space, and there was some things that I was doing with it that felt the most like mouse and keyboard that I've ever played, but it didn't quite spin or flip as fast as I wanted it to like this. So that's the reason why I don't like it as much. It feels great in certain situations, but when I want to go like this, it feels like I have to move it way too hard just to get it to respond like that. So, not quite sure what it's calculating or how it's doing it. So I've got to spend some more time with it just to see if I can figure it out. But I really, really wanted to have a video made today about this, but I realized a few hours ago when I was trying to make it that it's just not going to happen today. Because my brain is just exploding with all the different things that can be done with it, and I got to try to understand how it works. And I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but it's because I'm trying to work these things out and talk about it out loud so that I can get better at explaining it. Because it's such a complex subject to explain to begin with, first of all. But secondly, it's you're up here. I don't like that situation. I don't like it. Excuse me. Okay, I don't know where anybody's at here. Except for the... Okay, let's see if we can... Oh, see, I knew somebody was off in the distance, trying to third party. Ooh, that's a big thunder right there. Okay, so that was a bot. Where's this guy at? There you are. Okay. See you later, homie. No, I don't want that. But oh, what a gift from Jib Smart this was, man. Why don't you die already? Oh! Oh my gosh, I can't believe I screwed that up. Dang it. I was trying to reload and he just caught me off guard right there. I should have been ready for that. So anyways, thank you for listening to me blabber and just do this horribly to explain it. Man, I would literally before stream, I was practicing and trying to figure out like how I was gonna explain all of it, and then as soon as I started streaming, I was like, I still don't get it. I still don't understand at all. I mean, I understand it, but it's not to the level of mastery in my brain yet, where like I can just fluently just explain it and talk about it. It's frustrating too, because you know, as much time as I've spent with it, you would think that like I get every aspect of it, but I don't. You know, because my ultimate goal is I want to be able to explain how to set this up in such a way that somebody that's never played it before can easily pick it up and just magically point to where they want to go. Because the explanation is that good. Okay. Let's try a little bit harder than that last one, because I just kind of confused myself and then lazily tried to get out of that situation. I need to play with a little bit more animation. Okay, that's a bot. Hey, what's going on, Enzu? Good to see you, homie. Just trying to explain the new gyro settings and fumble my way through it so that I can make a better video about it here pretty soon. Because it's literally, even though it's only 3 or 4 things, it's such a major change. Oh, what? Oh, that's the power of gyro right there. Bro. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. I keep whiffing my shotgun shot, but then cleaning it up with the SMG. So I gotta figure out what's going on with that. Perfect time to experiment. Yeah, well, the goal this whole time has been to make a master controller video that explains how to use aim assist, that explains how to use gyro, that explains how to use boost, and make it the best instruction manual that's ever been made for a video game. That's my goal. But then they just kind of gave us another gift, basically, by coming out with even more settings that you can dial in, or basically just opening up the gyro settings to be dialed in to a greater degree than ever before. So now that they've done that, this is perfect timing for me to like really try to turn up the speed on getting that video made and including all of the new settings and features that just came out with it. Oh, wow. Okay, so there's some kind of severe thunderstorm warning. see what it says. Destructive 80-mile-per-hour winds. Wow. Okay, well, let's hope I don't fly away in the middle of this stream. Hey, what's up, Magalore 4530? So they've made it to where, and this all remains to be seen because I haven't tested it enough yet, okay? But it's supposed to be fixed. All the problems that were plaguing us before, to where sometimes we would move it and it would go right here, and then other times we'd move it and it'd go right here. And then other times it would go right here, and then sometimes it'd go right here, right? Like you're in a clutch situation and then you try to move it like this, but it ends up over here, right? I've spent all this time trying to mitigate those problems and figure out a way to make it still controllable, right? But now auto calibration has been set to where you can lock it and it not just activate on its own without your permission. Okay, so you can set it to locked now, and it shouldn't drift like that anymore. Okay, part of the solutions that I came up with is to use more stick, so that when you do catch it drifting, you can just use your stick to get it back on track. Okay, but according to the way that it's set up now, you should be able to dial everything in to the nth degree because you've got access to even more of the volume knob, if you want to call it that. So there's more stuff that I have to kind of wrap my brain around. So forgive the poor explanation from yesterday at the beginning of the stream, and my poor explanation at the beginning of this stream. I'm doing my best to try and tackle such a big subject, because if somebody tries to make a video that's like 10 minutes long about all this stuff, you're still not going to be able to understand it. You have to like, you literally have to kind of sit there and listen to yourself say the words that are written down for the description, and then go, okay, in your mind, what is this actually doing? And then try to physically do it so that you can understand what it is that's happening. You know, and primarily it's like that because there's no real frame of reference. Like, you can't just look at the settings and go, okay, yeah, I know I need to turn it to 12. Okay, so that guy was a bot. Hey, what's up, Diamond? Good to see you, homie. Just trying to talk about these settings over and over and over again. So if you guys get sick of it, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do this for myself so that I can understand it and make a better video about how to adjust everything. Hey, good night, man. Thank you so much for coming by to say hello. Awesome of you, bro. But just to recap, they made the acceleration max threshold give you the ability to go to 1,000 now. So that means that if you want to, you would have to move the controller 1,000 degrees per second before the fast multiplier kicks in. They made it to where the acceleration multiplier can go less than 1, so you can go slower if you want to. Like, it's a multiplier that lets you go half speed if you want to do that, or 1/10 of the speed if you're moving it slow. but then it also has the ability to go faster than 20. So the multiplier used to only go from 1 to 20. Now it goes from 0, and then it increments of 0.02 all the way up to 1. So you can go like 0.02 multiplier now, all the way up to 1,000. You're going to buy the new KOR? What's that? Sorry, bro. I'm not up with the lingo. I don't know what a new KOR is. I want to keep this. And the next thing that they changed is the auto calibration feature. You're able to let it calibrate anytime. Let it calibrate only when the menus for settings are open, or you can lock it so that it doesn't even try to calibrate at all. Okay, so that's how that works. Okay, I can't get in there because I got to go into a vault. They made it to where the smoothness and tightening thresholds can be set in increments of 0.1 instead of 0.5. So you have more ability to fine-tune that now. And they made it to where they have a whole new way that the gyro is being calculated called world space. It has to do something to do with gravity, and I still quite don't understand how it's actually working in world space other than it feels tighter. That's the only thing that I can understand with it, is that it feels tighter to use world space. Yeah, Jib's smart, and if he's watching, you're the man, bro. You did an awesome thing by listening not just to me, but to Titanium Gyro and Voodoo and everybody else that's been in your ear about stuff. Because this is single-handedly the biggest update for Gyro since Gyro came out. I mean, that's how big this update is, you know. And the fact that there's hardly anything that's being said about it, you know, other than just in Reddit, you know. This is, I don't know how to explain it other than this is a huge, huge win for Gyro in Fortnite. So now there should be no excuse for why somebody cannot dominate with 0% aim assist, because we literally have all of the tools at our fingertips. We just have to learn how to set it up. We have to figure out how to make it work right. So everything is all just slowly gelling together and becoming the monster that I know it can be. Like, the stage is being set for Gyro to just completely dominate. And all I can do is hope that I can be at the forefront of that, because I spent so much time trying to figure this out. Okay, we have to go like this. We just have to. Oh. I'll catch up to your comments here in just a second, Laws. I'm trying not to die. I don't even know what's happening right now because it feels like somebody is throwing some kind of weapon at me. Oh. Oh, come on, man. I just screwed up that last little shotgun flick. Okay, so I need to try and fix that. I'm going to drop this to 101 and see if that makes a difference. All right, so Laws says, I don't play Gyro, but was reading up on local and world space. I'm back. Sorry, had to ban somebody. That was Go Dogs. You had to ban somebody again. Look at you, homie. Local tilt camera, the way the character is facing. World camera, no matter what way you're facing. So, yes, that is correct because that's what you read, right? But in terms of how you actually use it, I don't know that that actually translates, because to me, local means that I can go up and down, left and right, and then I can roll it, and it responds to each of the three ways, okay? When you have it on world, it doesn't move as much for some reason, and I can't figure out why it doesn't move as much. It just feels tighter. So, whatever that is... Okay, so let's go back to 102. I don't like 101. Let's go 1. But it also tells me that if they've opened up Gyro to be this precise, it's almost kind of like an invitation to Gyro players that may not would have looked at Fortnite. It's almost kind of like, hey, Gyro is going to be doing something great. Let's just see what happens with it. It's like it feels like it almost feels like they're saying, hey, this is what you guys have been waiting for. Let's do it. What? Come on, man. I need to get shield from somewhere. Yeah, no, ChatGPT, that's the answers are correct, but it just doesn't. I don't know how to explain it. See, that's why I keep repeating myself a lot, because I'm trying to find a way to explain this that makes sense. Because even though the answer from ChatGPT is correct, it doesn't feel like it's in the real world doing what it says on the description. So I got to try and understand what it actually means. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Okay. Alright, so it's not flipping quite fast enough that way. I need this to go just a little bit faster. So let's see how we can make that happen. Let's try going 440. You know, but this is ripe opportunity for experimentation, new techniques to be discovered. Okay, so 440 is not the way. Let's go back to 445. Let's go 103. Okay, maybe 103 is good. Let's see. Thought I heard somebody shooting over here. There they are. Okay, so 103 is not the answer there. Okay, so let's go back to 102. Let's figure out, let's maybe just go 13.